that clip from that movie that Billy Bob Thornton's in. I don't know what the
It's
name
a
of the character.
TV series on
Series.
Paramount called what's it called?
Landman.
Landman.
Okay, now he was a oil man basically,
He's
right?
like
Right.
the fixer for
He's
the corporation.
Yeah.
Anything
Right.
that goes wrong, he's the one that's blamed for it, and he's the one that fixes. He's like
He's
the bad guy,
the go-to
He's
person.
the
Right.
bad guy, good guy.
Yeah, but he's like he was so honest. I mean, and he made so many points because they're combating these people who want to stop oil production in this country, and obviously he's a spokesman for the company, right?
Right.
He's a spokesman for the company, and he presented. I mean, he just said he just laid it out for the protesters and stuff. It's like, look, everything the oil industry is the center for the American economy. I mean,
The
it
world
is.
economy.
World economy. Yeah, but I mean, it really is.
And like we were talking offline, that oil is what makes the world run,
Right.
Correct.
not gold.
Right.
People like gold, but gold can be replaced in everything that it does
Right.
in industry where oil can't.
Yeah,
Right.
there's very few things that gold can't be replaced, like like certain things. But let's face it, water and oil, I mean, are two things that we cannot do without. Not in the current, the water, never. We never could do without water.
Your
It's like-
clothes, your eyeglasses,
It's in our
your
food.
cars, everything.
It's in our food.
It's
It protects our
additives in our
food.
food. I mean, not that that's a good thing, but it's there.
Look at the medical. I mean, applications. I mean, tubing and stuff you use for surgery.
Hearts.
Plastic hearts. I mean,
Kneecaps that you have in people's about hips. Good.
These people like to live in a la la land world. I'm sorry, that's what they're living in. If they think that they can just shut the oil off tomorrow, it's not. It can't. Oil will never be replaced because even if we find another energy to move our cars around,
right.
You still gotta have
you're
the
still
oil.
gonna have to have the oil to make the tires and the parts for the cars and the trucks.
And what builds the green energy is dirtier than just going straight with the oil.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
He goes on the rant explaining how many tons of concrete there is in the base for these wind powered
Turbines.
Yeah.
turbines,
Yeah.
Right.
and that there's hundreds of thousands of yards of concrete that goes in there, and he talks about how the trucks have to drive into no man's land, and you just all the money that goes into putting that tower up, and then that thing's only has a life of 20 years.
Right.
Right.
It's thousands of dollars. Plus, there is oil for lubrication of the propellers, on
You
those
gotta
things.
use those.
And I've seen them one time. There was across the river from my house, there is a railroad track section, the trestle and stuff. And I seen them coming to the propellers of those things. They took up 2 boxcars in length. A
Right.
boxcar is what, 35, 40 feet?
But in
Yes.
Hawaii, they're just laying on the ground. They've had wind power forever, and they're just laying there on the military installation, just and grass is growing around them because, like I said, they're only good for 20 to 30 years, and they're done.
And to recoup the loss of the metal, okay, the resources so that we can actually smelt the metal down for these propellers to be made because they are out of metal. It would they would have to be in operation hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years to have a payoff on that.
It was funny because one day I was watching some of these experts that were sitting there talking about banning oil and why we have to ban oil. And they were wearing glasses.
Yeah.
And one of the guys that was sitting up there, one of the new congressmen goes,
You're
Can
wearing
you tell me
glasses.
can you tell me how you got your glasses made? The girl couldn't tell him how the glasses were
No.
made. He said, that's all oil.
Well,
right
that's
there.
just like the people that say, "Why do you have to go hunt when you can just get it from the supermarket where they make it?"
Yeah,
you don't need a gun, you go hunting.
That's how smart they are.
It comes to show how privileged people have become and so out of touch with the everyday realities. I mean, I get tired of people when they say that, the old people, the ancient people, they were superstitious because they like about death
They
or
had
and birth.
reasons for their superstition.
They did have reason because it was connected to the process that they had to deal with. So, I mean, basically a lot of that carryover was the superstition wasn't really superstition if it was divorced, all those actions or activities are divorced from the process.
Yeah, it was something dangerous,
Right.
That they were trying to stop you from doing with the superstition.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it was. Yeah.
It's funny that we have a big supply of oil,
Mhm.
right? But we have a very low supply of
But
common sense in this
I
country.
also listened to a guy that was very smart that they can make oil from dirty coal.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
in a clean way.
Right.
Right.
So, but they don't want us to use coal either.
Another thing is too, they jack up the price of oil in this country and all the other refuel, like heating fuel and everything else, because they don't want more refineries built. Here's my suggestion, okay? Okay, everything else, bring it, produce it here in the United States. Have refineries in every state, a few of them, okay?
Well, we have like 2 of them.
Well, to regulate the hell out of them. You guys love government agencies. Well, then have 50 inspectors at every shift of production. So that we got employment and you got oversight. And that way the country's energy needs are being met. But having the dependency up on Saudi Arabia or any place else is in lunacy. I mean, we can't develop, like the other day I was talking to somebody about the situation in Cuba and the power grid down in Cuba.
Right.
And it was already pretty much like it was good at the time when Castro took over and the communists came to power, but that's like 70 some years now. Okay, so the power grid is now needing more. Ours
Ours is well, even if we had, and that's another part of the rant that he goes in. Even if we had the full power of the wind and
still
the
need-
sun, we don't have the infrastructure on our power grid to get the power to where it needs to go.
And even
without
if
oil.
everything's flowing properly, I think those transformers, those big block bit things you see them probably put in different places. One of those goes down, and most people don't. We don't make them here anymore. They don't make them in this country. They're made in some European nation. It takes 3 years to get some of those across. Now, there's obviously somebody been already ordered and been finished, and they're being shipped
Right.
over. But if there's a catastrophic failure and they need more and more of them, we're screwed. We're going to be out of at least operation for a couple of years. Certain areas.
But and then there's also the greed that comes with it, and that's what's happening. I mean, to jump in another thing, that's what's happening in North Carolina right now. That the greedy corporations who want to rebuild North Carolina don't want the National Guard to do it for free. So the National Guard has withdrawn all of its help to the people in North Carolina,
Get
so
them.
the corporations can come in
and get their
and
money.
charge the government to start rebuilding the
bull-
roads and different things.
Oh my! This is. I mean, okay.
So the people are suffering.
Yeah.
So the
suffering.
lobbyists of those different building
The-
companies got us a way to get the National Guard out of the way so these guys can
So
make
the
money.
corporations can come in.
See, the idea.
and like you were going to say before I cut you off, and I apologize. And these people are suffering because of this.
Yeah, and that's like, and then you got people like I keep on bringing it up. I brought it up earlier today, Mr. Moss's show. You got Lindsey Graham, who is next door to South Carolina, saying about the situation when it unfolded in North Carolina. But look at our friends in Israel. They got people actually trying to kill them. Well, a hurricane just killed a bunch of North Carolinians, you idiot.
Right.
So you don't give a damn about our country,
No,
our
that's the
people's
way.
country.
That's the honest to God truth. The way that it feels like Congress doesn't care about its own people.
Well, they don't. I mean, if they're allowing if they're not pressing, if the state government of North Carolina is not allowing the National Guard to help people get back on their feet and rebuild their area, then that's exactly what they're being paid. We got the best government money can buy, or governments. I don't care what level you're talking about. This is BS. I mean, our people should come president. And guess what? There's Mexicans and blacks and Asians in North Carolina. Last I
This is
knew.
really going to piss you off. Joe Biden's giving a goodbye kiss to Ukraine by giving them $725 million on his way out.
Oh, that's really nice there, Joe. And also then it follows on up with too about his pardoning his son.
Well, you know what?
We talked
Too
about
bad,
that.
too sad. It's his son. I don't care. These people that are getting all upset and go wah wah wah. It was to be expected.
I expected. I didn't think.
Well, everyone did.
That's what
It's-
I hate about it. It's like Lucy with the football.
They
The
just keep picking it
Republicans
up.
are stupid. And they're all bitching, and they're like their hair's on fire about this. Just let it go.
I think Charmaine got, and I don't really ever hardly agree with him that much, but he actually said best today. He said, can we finally now get off the fact that Democratic Party can hold this higher morality thing over everybody? They don't.
Okay,
They
but
don't.
how do they hold it?
Politicians.
Because the stupid Republicans give it
to them.
They give them the respect. They
Well-
act like they're even when the Democrats are in power, they still act like underdogs.
Yeah, they're like, well, there's nothing we can do about it. And they're hand wringing. That's what they do.
You are walking in on January 20th with the House, the Senate, with a good majority in the Senate,
Right.
and you're walking in with the White House.
But they're
If
still griping about all of his appointees are not. They're not up to standard. When they just pushed through all the Bidens who weren't up to
I
standard.
mean, come on, that guy who was shaved bald, wear dresses, and got busted stealing some people's
Stealing females'
it was-
clothing
yeah.
at airports.
Yeah, at airports. That was
And
qualifications.
that guy had all
That
the
was
nuclear
qualified?
codes
A
and
man
everything.
in a dress.
A man in a dress. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I mean, they go out of their way to find the most preposterous people to put in position. And if you say anything, you're the one that's got some
Not
kind of
anymore.
phobia.
Now we can say it.
Well, yeah, but let's face it,
It's
we got
too
3
late
years.
now. But But don't you think it's been like a nightmare that you just woken up to?
Oh,
That you woken up and you can't believe the last 4 years that we
That we
went
lived through.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, oh yeah, that's I mean, every day I grind my teeth. I shut myself from watching from TV because I couldn't watch the news because anything I knew that if we're hearing this and it's much worse underneath the surface because the press and the media at that time was not going to go any further than that. They're just going to the basics.
But
I
it's the
mean,
same thing with Trump's tariffs. They're acting like Trump didn't have tariffs in his first term,
well,
and he used them sparingly. He really didn't. 70 billion or something like that he made from tariffs. That's minuscule.
that's
From what we owe.
yeah, but another thing is too. It's like okay, people, if he gives you a tax cut. Now you got enough money. You can make a decision to make a purchase of a large ticket item, so you can offset maybe paying taxes. In some places, are going to actually absorb that and offer that up to their customers. Okay,
He's doing this for two reasons. One, for us to stop taking it in the rear end without KY. And the other side he's trying to do for another spot is to actually bring that stuff back in this country and have it made in America.
It would be a bonus if that happens, but if he can bring prices down at the same and things are made in the other country, that's a win too.
Right.
another thing is too, the liberals, every time I dealt with this in college, you would say, well, the reason we have to pay taxes is because we have infrastructure support. Well, get this.
Well, what did they do in the 1800s?
Well,
How did they pay for stuff?
Well, they
The
paid.
tariffs.
Well, they had toll roads, which everybody else rolls their eyes
But they
at.
paid
but-
with tariffs.
with tariffs, yeah, but that's what I was good point. I was going to say the Chinese or whoever is coming in, sending their stuff in here is enjoying the use of our roads to ship their materials and goods to the stores that we're purchasing them at, right?
Right.
So they're enjoying the benefit that so as the taxpayers, the taxpayers and the tariff payers, they're paying, they're double paying. The people who are supplying, giving us the stuff, sending the stuff, not selling it to us, they should pay a portion of that because that's part of doing business.
Why not? Yeah, that's what I don't understand about Congress. They enjoy putting taxes on us.
Well, oh, they think
But-
nothing of
but
it.
they hate to put taxes on
Yeah.
foreign countries.
Because reason why they're afraid that the gravy train that's coming their way from those countries.
Well, I'm sure China, don't you think, has a big lobbyist?
Oh,
yeah.
heck
Or
yeah.
a big lobby?
Look at Eric Swallow when he was dating that one girl. How much money did he make in all the different things? No one will never know that.
Well,
We don't ever
When he
do.
had Fang Fang, his girlfriend.
yeah,
You never know how much money these guys are getting in Israel. Okay, so the one thing we talk about Israel, I always have a different viewpoint
yeah.
than you do. But here's the one point I will agree with you on with Lindsey Graham.
All right.
I swear to God, you guys see his bank account, how much money comes from the Israel side of that one too. It's not these are our friends; these are the
Okay.
guys who are paying our.
I don't mind
bills.
helping other countries, but there
Humanitarian.
has to be a partnership.
Or
I mean,
humanitarian wise.
you can't have another. That's what you're talking about Israel. I don't understand why the prime minister of Israel or the prime minister of Ukraine comes and speaks in front of Congress.
I don't see
Well,
it.
how did they both get to do that all the time? You don't see Canada coming. You don't see
Mexico,
Mexico
no.
coming,
You don't see Germany coming.
who are real partners.
Right.
right.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, let's face it. I mean, it's a rare thing. I mean, last time I heard of anybody from England, like a prime minister, I can't remember the last time a prime minister spoke in front of Congress. Can you? I mean, it was maybe
A,
20
a real country.
Wait. England did. The Queen came like a few years ago. She did.
Okay,
before
so
she
yeah,
died.
I was going to say, because last time I knew prime minister, though,
But
that's
yeah,
a figure. That's
But I mean, you're right.
Yeah.
You get more of the others.
what's
I'm talking about a real partner like
Zelensky's
Canada.
been over here more than our regular.
But he's not a
congressman.
partner. He's a taker.
yeah, that's all.
Right.
He is a partner. I mean, it's like, yeah, I mean, all these countries are supposed to be allies with. What the hell they ever give us in return, including Israel? I mean, do they give us intel? No, according to the intel agency people that I've heard interview, they said they never got any useful
But the
intel.
only true
from
partners
Israel.
we have are Canada and Mexico, and that's because we all three
proximity.
have self-interest
Right.
that we're each protecting.
Right. I mean, it's like, I mean, I can understand. I can be very generous. I can see the United States being very generous to something, a catastrophic situation to happen in Mexico or Canada, certainly. But I mean, I can't see us giving weapons and now okaying the, like
And the
Biden
same
did.
thing. I mean, how can you not understand that Putin's going to get pissed off if you're screwing around in his area of operations,
Well,
for lack of a better term?
Well,
What if somebody came in Mexico and started doing all of the things that in Mexico, giving Mexico arms to attack us?
right. I mean, let's
Yeah.
face it, October of 1962, the 9 tense days or whatever they had of the Cuba, what we call the Cuban Missile Crisis, because they had missiles in Cuba pointing at us. We're ringing Russia with NATO aligned, now new recently approved of NATO aligned countries that had never been NATO countries. Around their parameter. Well, gee, you can't understand that. Why it doesn't feel a sense of paranoia? I mean, they're feeding his paranoia,
You're
which
talking
is
about Russia, right?
Russia.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah.
Russia is being surrounded by NATO. We would be angry as hell if Canada and Mexico allowed everybody to and ring us with people who are aligned with, an agency or groups that are against us. I
Yeah,
mean,
but
that's
we're
ridiculous.
we're the ones, meaning the West, made you. We designated them as a country.
Right.
Nobody else
Russia
did.
never gave them up.
No, I mean, it's like, and that's the thing is too, they want to blame this
Oh,
on
yeah.
Putin.
Go with that one. What would happen if they came over, took over a state from us? Let's
Right.
say they took
And
Alaska
said,
back.
"Well, now Texas is now the foreign countries are coming in and say now Texas is now a foreign country
Right.
because
What would
we
we do?
said so."
Yeah,
And
'cause
what would we do?
we'd react negatively to it. I mean, we'd be hostile.
I
We'd be
don't think
sending
we should
troops.
be the world police anymore.
Well,
I
I
don't
think we
think we
need
need
to
should
to.
have
We
been.
don't need to be in NATO, and we don't need to be in the UN.
The UN can find another country to go live in.
Yeah, but let's face it, somebody else would welcome it. And let's face it, we pay for what 60% of the total cost.
Everything.
I mean, so it's over. How many hundreds of nations have belonged allegedly
and
to
then
it?
we're probably paying for the security,
Yeah,
we
and
do.
the food,
We do.
the housing.
We do.
we do. Yeah, but, I mean,
Why not just let them go and rotate in different countries?
That's a
for
good
couple
idea.
of go to Germany.
we're not.
Another report came out today about the immigrants coming across in New York. You know the hotels they put them up in and all that.
Yeah.
Guess where all the money went to? Pakistan.
Oh, real? Oh, yeah. Because that makes sense. Because I know a lot of Indian people from India own a lot of the hotels in the United States. They started acquiring because family-run business, so the Marriott and the bigger ones
That
also
wasn't
got.
planned,
Yeah,
right?
No,
This wasn't planned.
that wasn't planned, right? Mhm.
So
Yeah.
no, but okay. So wait, we were talking about the thing, and I agree with you. Boo-hoo, the Republicans need to get off of this thing about Biden's a dad first. I'm sorry. This is why you take the 25th Amendment. If somebody kidnapped your kid, another country kidnapped your kid, you get the 25th Amendment because you're not thinking as a president of the United States or commander.
Are you saying that they
Diminished
should
capacity
revoke the 25th
no,
Amendment?
no.
What
I'm
do you mean?
saying, but the pardon itself,
Yeah.
I think is sketchy.
I honestly don't mind, and I knew it was coming, but like I said, everyone's pulling their hair out
What's
about
I
it.
expected
Let's
it.
move on.
It's not okay. I agree. The pardon is something you move on.
It's done.
But yeah, you can't go back and say anything.
So
the
then
funny
stop
thing about the
bitching about
part,
it, right?
no, I'm not bitching about it. But
Not
here's the thing.
you.
But here's the weird part about it is, guess what? What he wrote in there is the part that I'm like, yeah, no, that's
It's
sketchy
also
as hell.
future too, isn't it?
Yeah,
Or no,
No.
it goes back like 10 years.
It goes back to 2014 when he was on Burisma.
10 years.
So nobody can go after Hunter. So it's basically you took that, and then they're talking about
Well,
what he's
that
doing
sort
is-
of probably protects him and the rest of his family.
And then guess the next thing they're doing is he's actually putting a pardon in for his brother.
Like I said, I don't care.
But his brother hasn't been charged with anything.
Oh, that's that's
Well, and that he
that's-
won't be.
no.
That's
that's
if
a
okay.
total criminal enterprise.
But there's nothing you can do about it. He's the president. We've given him the power. That he can pardon who he wants to pardon.
Well,
It's never. What are they going to take it to the Supreme Court?
no. See, I think people said, well,
Do you really want him to take it to the Supreme Court and start opening that up?
No,
but-
I believe he can do whatever he wants to. That's not fine. But when most people do the pardons, they don't say, okay, you have a blanket check
that's
all
what
the
it
way
is.
for 10 years.
It's too late. It's done.
Yeah, but the thing is, well, then it's going to make it easier for the liberals to just have to back down.
Well,
When
no.
Trump,
Well-
let me finish. When Trump, gives pardons to those alleged, insurrectionists of January 6th.
And that's what they actually said is that the Democrats they don't
They
have a
can't
leg
say
to stand
crap.
on.
They can't say crap
Because honestly, he's been
But
saying
what
this
is,
since June.
my opinion is, who cares if the Democrats go out and say wah wah
Well,
wah January? Who cares?
Because I'm tired of listening to both
Right,
sides.
but who cares? Let them scream.
well, see,
bloody
it's not so
murder.
much of who cares, but what they can do using that, trying to pry the lid off. That's what they're going to try to
Use
use
it
it to police
against
pry off
who?
of something else. Oh, against anybody.
Well,
If
They try to put the blame on Trump because they said, well, this came after he did the Kash Patel being the head of the FBI and all the stuff that he's going to
Yeah.
fire Ray and put Kash Patel in there. And he's like, oh, this
Okay.
is what, but don't blame it on Trump. Just say, you know what, honestly, I'm a father before I'm anything else. Yes,
But
I
we're
did say
all in
this, but I'm
agreement
coming back to this one.
that it's done. Move on. There's nothing
But,
you cannot
yeah,
do it.
because it was done to protect the Biden
And what good
crime
does it do
syndicate.
to
It really
start
was.
pointing fingers?
Just
You're a bad
say
man.
that.
You're a bad
They
man.
don't care.
Biden.
But
Why
to
wouldn't
say
he-
that,
he can't comprehend that
you know
anyway.
what? I'm okay with it. I agree.
I'm not
move on.
talking about you
But somebody
personally.
needs to just flat out these people for the last year they've been saying all about stuff. Shut up about
Okay,
Trump.
but
Shut up about Trump
but
and shut up about Biden.
right, but the thing is they let these people get them all worked up, and well, they luckily Trump's focused on he's laser beam focused on
Right.
what
He
he's
doesn't give a
gonna
shit
do.
about others.
He's not getting sidetracked by all this bullshit, but Congress is.
Well, they're sidetracked about anything.
And that's why the smartest thing he did is not take the money for his transition team
Yeah, that's
because
smart.
they don't know what he's doing.
Because
now.
that way they would have no accountability on required from them because they gave him no money to do this with.
So
I
he
think-
doesn't have
no.
to let them know where he is in the transition. Nothing.
Right. I thing is, though, I was talking to a friend of mine who asked me about that. He's a person's from Scotland, and he asked me, so what do you think about Biden pardoning his son? And I went, because I said he had to because it's protecting the Biden crime syndicate, and you couldn't. I just don't think his son Hunter would be really a person to do well or enjoying prison. I don't think he'd be ruminating and coming to acknowledgement of his sinfulness or wrongfulness or whatever. In
Okay,
prison.
if it was
So-
your son or your brother or your sister, and you had the power to take, even they did something and you know they did it,
You're still-
would you pardon them? I'm
Okay.
sure you would, because
I was talking to my daughter.
I would pardon my family.
I was talking to my daughter on the way over, and we were talking about the pardoning. And I said, you know what? As a dad, you'd have to, and as your dad, you got to think that through. But
I'm saying
but
short
don't
of
lie.
murder.
Don't lie. Stop lying. That's all I care
Yeah,
about.
but if that's the thing,
You
is
would let your sister suffer in prison
if
if
it was
you had the power
One of them,
to let it go.
Yeah, one of
If
my
you had-
brothers.
no, don't.
Yeah, but I would do okay. But he brought up a point that was interesting. I didn't know about. Forgive me. Pardon his brother of crimes that haven't not been charged yet. No, I wouldn't be engaged in something like that. I might try to get the person, my family member, and get them a pardon because I wouldn't
Okay,
want to
let's
see
put
them
it
in
this
prison.
way. You had the wish to take it away. Would you?
Yes.
The wish. Well, that's
The ability to take it away from someone.
okay. Then I just don't want to see anybody ever prosecuted again. What
I'm
they got
talking
him
about
for.
a family member. I'm talking about your sister.
Okay, if she did a serious enough crime, I'd say she has to do the time. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm a different person. I know. If there's sometimes they do something, you got to say what he did was reprehensible. It caused there's a bloodshed connected to the Biden family. Okay, I'm
Right.
sorry, there is.
But here's the funny thing is that when he put the bargain together, what he said was Hunter Biden would never have done this unless it's his name. It was never been accused of it. Same thing that they've been saying about Trump. If it was Trump, anyone else's name, Trump would never. These charges would never come up.
Okay,
And but here's the thing:
we're beating a dead horse.
Yeah.
we're not really being the dead horse.
Yes, we are. We need to keep
What is
going.
going-
I-
Okay.
They're already saying that gas prices are
coming down a little bit.
since 2021. The gas prices have come down already.
2021. Did anybody see that though here? I mean, I never heard anybody saying, "Gee, the prices went down."
It's
I
come down to
looked
like
it up. I got it
$2.87.
here.
Okay,
The
I don't know
national
which one you're
average.
referring to there, so I didn't get a chance to look at
The
it.
national average
number
is coming
4.
down.
Number 4. Okay.
But gas prices are already coming down. They're at a 3-year low or
I-
4-year low.
The other day I saw it was $2.99. I saw some gallon of
That's
Which-
here in
yeah.
Michigan. I'm
Right.
talking about national average.
The
Yeah.
national average is
Yes,
coming
well,
down,
I
which
mean-
is not hard if you pull down California and Chicago.
Yeah, it's another thing is look at the amount. Ours have come down considerably if you look at
But
taxes being
That's
removed
just
from
one
it.
man taking office,
Right.
That caused this, and he hasn't even
even
enacted
figured-
one thing yet.
Because all I know is I feel better being in a position of authority over the rest of us, and then more than I think the business owners, because he resonates better with business owners and not these guys who hate business people but want those checks from them. The Democrats, and they hate business people. They hate them.
But okay, I don't know if you've seen on TikTok where they're trying to say that they're canceling Walmart because of DEI, and they're trying to
Because-
point at.
Yeah.
I checked it out,
It was
and Mastercard and all they're reporting
record sales.
record sales this year, not necessarily because who go okay. When's the last time that you went, man? I'm going to go to Myers or Walmart
At 3:00 in the morning.
because they have a sale.
No.
I'm I'll pay the extra money. I'll pay extra $25 to buy it online to have it brought to my house.
Yeah, I would too. I mean, it's just
People
much
look at
easier.
it that way. People don't want to go try to get a big TV in their car or whatever.
Once
or
you get shipped to
go
your house, you're all
and
good.
be around because we were trained for the last 3 years not to go congregate
Yeah.
and be around other people. Especially right now, you don't want to be around nasty people. You can't control who you're going to be around,
No.
right?
No,
And get sick.
I mean, besides, most people, so the size of their vehicles don't allow that easily to transport. Like you said, large screen TVs and stuff. So
But I think
yeah.
we're past the Black Friday bullshit every day because we're in a disposable economy now.
Yep.
I mean, people are in the mindset if I want a TV, I'm going to go get it. It's not like when we were younger that we had to wait until our birthday or wait until Christmas to get a new bicycle.
Right.
you want it, you go get it.
People don't wait anymore.
Because another thing is too, because it isn't, the proportionality to income. I mean, a large screen TV, you can get what, $200-$300. Years ago, a regular TV would cost you $400 or $500.
Right.
A regular size
But-
TV.
And that's what I'm saying. People,
But here's the other side of Black Friday. Would you rather sit in your pajamas, like Steve said, and click on all the different things and buy and have it shipped to your house?
or wait until Cyber Monday.
Well, I'll answer the
or
question.
run around with 25 people in
But
line.
the one thing I did see on TikTok in YouTube and other places is that these like Walmart was saying Black Friday sale $429 for this TV, and then they were going back and pulling the placard and finding out it's the same price it was every day.
Well, that's kind of like Kmart used to do. Remember the blue light special?
Yeah.
They raise all the prices up 10% and then go around and tell everybody
Well, that's
they're taking 10%
but
off.
that's what somebody said that's a practice that they do on Amazon. What they'll do, but there's apps that will show you where they'll gradually raise the price
right.
up until November, and then Black Friday they'll put it back to the price where it was like in
Yeah.
August.
Yeah, that's another thing is my brother used to work at one of the Kmart's, and he was working the shoe department, and he was actually basically running the department. They said you could sell these pairs of shoes for like $4. Well, he was offering them, each shoe $2. He goes, he expected a bunch of people with one-legged people showing up, so he's screwed. But he said, yeah, that's why he sold them. It was
That
$4
was-
a pair.
What another
Yeah.
scary thing that I see is that a supermarket, they didn't say what supermarket, but it has digital tags, and what it does is they can predict at a certain time, like early in the morning, the product's one price,
Yep.
and then at
start
high
to-
demand, they raise the price. Do you think that's bullshit?
Oh, that's bullshit.
No, that they do that to people.
I think they probably do it.
I-
though.
No, they do it. I'm saying they
I
do
think
do
it's
it. I'm
bullshit.
asking you, do you think it's wrong?
Oh, I think it
Yes.
is wrong. Yeah, I mean, it's like okay, you look at the price that they have to pay for wholesale or whatever they get it at to sell. Then I know they have to mark it up to make a profit.
It's greed.
Right. It's what I mean. Yeah, I think it's a blatant greed, very blatant. I
If
mean,
I see the store doing it, I certainly wouldn't shop.
no, I wouldn't either because it's basically they're looking out for their interest, and your interest here is like way down the list. I mean, you got to look out for your interest. They're looking out for their interest. If yours don't have a connecting point, then walk away. You don't need them.
But what they do is they track the stock. And when the item becomes low, they raise the price.
Yeah, that's I guess a supply and demand.
So you could literally pick up a can of peas for 69 cents, and by the time you walk into the register, it's
It could-
79 cents.
yeah. I mean,
Oh,
it's.
God.
I mean, that's a rate of
You're right. And if you send somebody back to do the price check on it, it's going to say 79 cents.
Right.
that also just shows that I think that's a situation where people think it's a very unstable economy because that was a scenario that happened after the Weimar Republic about the inflationary rate of the mark, the German mark. I mean, you'd have to take a wheelbarrow full of money to buy just a couple of loaf of bread. Because the money
Right.
by the time the day started, the price has gone up so much. You probably have to go get more marks. I mean, that's not a good sign. I mean, if that's allowable, that's not good. For
But
the
I don't
economy.
think the economy is that bad where they have to make every penny.
No, I don't think so either.
I think that's just straight up greed.
Well, nowadays, let's face it, the way they got the
That's
barcodes.
where we need Kamala Harris to come in and
Prosecute.
be our supermarket czar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
She
We
could be
don't-
the price check in aisle 9.
I don't think. I think the only thing she actually goes to regularity is probably a booze mark.
Did you see her the last interview she did? Or
That
this
was
one?
bad.
that 8-minute one?
I
It's like
felt bad. I couldn't watch it.
I only get to see about.
Oh,
I only got to
she
see
was
about-
drunk. You
People
can tell
around
that.
there have to know. Why don't they-
But they don't care anymore about it. You know why? Because they no. You know.
But that's our vice president of the United States of our United States.
Right.
She's representing all of us, whether you like it or not.
No. And I'm not saying that they don't care about her, and that's not a bad thing. They don't care about it because then they found out one thing that the Democratic Party didn't pay their employees for last month.
So
So these guys have worked for free to try to get her free, to try to get her elected. That last month they were working around the clock getting everything done. And the DNC just came back and said, "Oh, I'm sorry, we don't have enough money to pay you." But they paid money over to
well, not only that. Okay, they say that what she spent $1 billion.
She raised
Or is it
1.5 billion. And she
Okay, but
spent
that was for her during that 71 days or whatever it was.
120 days.
You
Right.
know, add what they spent on Joe Biden previously, which is like another billion.
Right.
How can it be billion with a B?
I don't know how they can.
To
Okay,
run for president.
they're being paid for by somebody. That's I mean if you and I would say we liked a candidate, we're wealthy, you maybe get $10,000 donation.
Right.
You know they're getting a hell of a lot more than 10,000 donation if they're racking up that much
Oh,
money.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
they go to these places, they got $1 million plates
But
for food and stuff like that.
stuff like that needs to be investigated. It has to be.
Well, another thing is too, I don't know if this is true or not, but I always heard in local elections, any kind of war chest you develop as a candidate, if you to say you don't seek reelection the next time you were elected, you got a
You
bunch
get to
left
hold
over,
on to it.
you can hold on to it. Well, gee, even losing is actually a win. And
Have
the
you
win
ever seen a politician cry when they lose?
No.
No. Well,
Hillary Clinton lost it.
Oh yeah,
come
she
on.
but she got drunk and was doing a lot of things. But she wanted to be the first glass ceiling president and all that. But have you ever seen a politician just like, my God, and you see somebody who works their ass off to win a game or something? I mean, it really bugs them. But when a politician loses, how they know they got that money for lever and everything? They go between. You start poor and you end up a millionaire.
That's it. I mean,
It's
it's
crazy.
Okay, Nancy Pelosi and her husband are worth $240 million last count. Okay, that was last count. Okay, I know he had his own career or something like that. I understand that. But that aside, that aside, though, I mean, these people are so wealthy. They're so not in touch with
But do
reality.
you think you should have a blind trust if you're going to go into
Yeah.
political office that you can't run your funds
You lock it in and they say, we'll put it, you could like,
to a certain amount?
Yeah.
You get your paycheck.
right, you get your paycheck.
You can live off that.
Right,
Right.
Anything else, your assets you are frozen
right.
for the time that you're in office. You can't buy or sell real estate.
The only time you could do if there's enough family emergency
Right.
and it requires money.
Something like that.
But I mean,
Right.
no.
Do you think that would stop a lot of people from running for political office?
Oh yeah, I'm sure they de-incentivize it. Yeah, I would say that. Yes.
But what do you think of Trump's borders are?
Oh, that
Then
was,
all these little
Tom Homan?
yeah,
Yeah.
like Denver mayor said that he's willing to go to jail for the to stop the deportation. And Trump's borders are says, I'm willing to put you in jail.
yeah. I mean, see, the thing is that they act like that's something that's they're dealing with
He
on their
doesn't-
own.
this guy doesn't care.
No.
Okay,
I mean,
but
he
okay,
cares
so
about doing his job.
the Denver mayor is thinking about all the other guys when they get arrested, right? These guys, these political activists,
Yeah.
they get arrested,
Right.
go through, get their picture taken, then they're outside, they never do anything.
Right.
Tom Homan's saying,
I'll
I'll
put you.
hold it.
You're
He's
going to be
saying-
arrested
and you're staying.
and deported.
You're not just making a political statement. You're going to be in
Right.
prison. Yeah. You're
Right.
going to be actually.
You're not just gonna hit
Oh,
his
you're
pocket.
saying that the mayor is going to be in federal custody.
Yeah,
Yeah.
federal custody.
He's not going
it's-
to have any
He's not
control.
going to come out here
It's
and
going
make
to be a peanut butter gel sandwich and it's going to be water.
It's not going to be good.
Yeah.
it
And
is-
then what he did, he already said that he's going to make examples.
That's what
So-
they have to. Okay, everybody said, "Well, that's so heroic of these mayors."
No,
It's not heroic because they have no skin in the game.
because they
Do
don't care
your
about the
job.
people.
Protect your people.
Right. I mean, they can't tell me all these
I'm
when you
sorry.
get unvetted.
But in Colorado, you've got these guys from Venezuela. No,
Do
this
some
pisses me
damage
off.
to that
Well,
paper.
you probably fly more, domestically than probably Steve and I ever have, right?
I don't want to get on a plane with people that want to blow it up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that we have to present ID, get sniffed, be there an hour and a half before our plane takes off to
You
get
got to take
sniffed
your
up.
shoes off.
Yeah,
It got so bad when I was flying one time all the time. I just would not pack. I went, like how when you pack your bag, you go, and so like that. When they first started it, I just threw my stuff in there because I knew they were going to throw it all together anyways. So why pat it down and make it all look nice?
we have to allow body cavity searches, but it's okay for people. Just waves and waves of people coming from our southern border. I mean,
I
but
agree.
there's no issue there for security
And not
wise.
only that, I don't know if you look at number 12 and number 13, Janet Yellen in October injected $50 billion or
$500 billion.
$500 billion into the economy.
See,
And
what
what's
was
going to happen is it's going to come due during Trump's first
Term.
quarter.
Yeah, first quarter.
okay?
No, during his first 100 days, the economy is going to go.
Did you any of us hear about this before? I didn't hear about this in the
No.
press.
No.
So it's quietly injected.
won't.
But we did hear about the weight loss drugs that Biden's okayed
Yeah.
that are also going to screw up Medicare and Medicaid because it's like $1,000 a shot.
Okay.
How are we gonna pay for that?
Yeah, it's like, well,
So
again,
weight loss was like
So
the
what
Ozempic
they're
and
doing is he's giving another goodbye kiss to Trump this time. He's trying. It looks to me like they're purposely trying to screw up the economy.
Oh, yeah, well, there's, okay, plus,
Well,
I
wait,
mean,
hold up. Can I get on that one?
oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Here's the thing. That's not just screwing up the economy. That's screwing up that drug right there that he just approved to do all this other stuff. It's screwing up the people that it's really made
Right,
for.
because what it does,
It's made for
one of-
diabetics that help keep
well,
our
but
A1C.
one of the side
going.
effects is it
Helps you lose weight.
yeah, but your stomach, you can't digest
By,
food.
bio,
Right.
And you
yeah.
throw up like once or twice a day, and that stays with you for like 3 or 4 years, where your stomach is
Is
in
this-
paralysis.
Yeah, paralysis of the stomach. But it also, but what it does is it's there for your A1C. And so what he's going to do is because we already went
But
through
what I'm
this
saying,
problem.
the side effects, there's been no study, no long-term study on this either.
No.
We don't know. They're saying that it's like causes lung cancer, and
It-
all kinds of things. There's all kinds of bad side effects. So really, you're just screwing people over in the long run.
And you're doing it to the seniors.
Oh,
again.
you know,
Well, not only seniors, they're probably putting kids on this.
well, you know, the thing is, I would suggest if you really got concerned about this, look at the pharmacy company that's creating this stuff and look and see who Nancy Pelosi's
Well,
got investments.
it's a
in.
foreign
Maybe there's a-
country. I forget what country it is. It's not allowed to be used in that country. I forget what it's. One of the lands, Iceland or Greenland.
What do you mean? It's made in there, and they won't even allow
They-
them for your own people to
No,
use it.
their government won't because of the side effects.
That's. I mean, I had a friend who just recently passed away, and his he had a bulimia, anorexia and bulimia, and he used to force himself to vomit, and it did do damage to his esophagus and might have given rise to his cancer that he had there in
My
esophagus.
sister was the same way.
Yeah. And so yeah, I mean, so now if they're throwing up, that's seriously dangerous. I mean, you do it, you get sick,
Well,
you get
could
over it,
imagine the gastrointestinal
but all the fluids and
problems.
stuff, yeah,
No, I mean that's another part of you that it causes gastro and
It does.
it destroys
is.
the bio. Does it create the the
it just ruins you
Probiotics
as a
or what
person.
it
does
You look
for-
good on the outside, but you're doing shitty on the inside.
well, years ago there was a liquid diet. They used not liquid diet. It was like actually some amino acids. People took it and devastated. Made people so weak. When they got sick, they almost died. I mean, and it was back in late 70s. This on it just kind of liquid protein diet.
But
Yeah.
the thing about it is these companies, once it gets to Medicare and Medicaid, they're going to be giving the doctors bennies to give it to
Right.
people.
More
Like,
lives.
yeah, I'm not the skinniest guy in the world, but I'm not the fattest guy in the world either. I could stand to lose a couple pounds, and they'd probably go after me and say, "Look,
Yeah.
you're 20 pounds overweight. You could take this Ozempic and get that off in a couple weeks,
So I always thought
I take Trulicity.
and you'll be healthy."
No, I take Trulicity and it helps my A1C. But I'll tell you one thing. Doing this is going to do a thing that it did when the celebrities were doing. There was a big old thing with the celebrities for a long time this last 2 years. You know how hard it was for us to get for the guys that needed it for their A1C, how hard it was for us to get this
Trulicity.
because we were backlogged 4 or 5 months. So people could just get this, like what Steve was saying. Doctors were saying it. They couldn't
pushing
couldn't
it.
keep it. They
It's
couldn't
not-
keep the demand.
It's not that they couldn't keep
Flat.
it; it's they didn't want to keep it. They were pushing it out because they were making bonuses. Do you know how much money? I watched pharmacists make money too off these.
Oh God,
drugs.
yeah.
I watched these people. They would when I worked at a bank that was next to the pharmacy in a Kroger. They would always have these pretty ladies going in and asking who the pharmacist is
Yeah.
and showing them their drugs and trying to get them
And showing them their
explaining
body, too.
what I don't know about that, but what I'm saying is that they would get. I asked the pharmacist. He said, "Yeah, they give them bonuses for pushing their drugs."
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is the thieves are in charge of the money.
Right.
They're going to be pushing this stuff, and they don't care. They know that probably a lawsuit's coming, but by the time that lawsuit comes,
They got insurance to
they
cover it.
not only that, but they
They
made
made so much money
billions
back.
of dollars.
So if you sue me for $1
This
million,
it's disgusting.
Well, we experienced that because Steve and I are older than you are, but in the 70s, when they had auto manufacturers, they knew a defect would cause catastrophic failure when an accident. And they just said they knew about it. Like, they remember the Pinto, the Ford Pinto,
Yeah.
and they get
Yeah.
plowed into the back and there'd be an explosion. But okay, they just said, okay, well, let's roll with it anyway because we banked so much money off of this and we'll just pay out any payouts.
wasn't that one that looked like a little? It wasn't like a Chevette, but it was like
yeah,
Yeah,
it looked like a little.
but what he's saying
Blown
is
up.
corporations are greedy.
they're greedy and
And
they'll
they're
just
going to make money, and they don't care. That's in their model.
That's they have to, and they make massive amount of money because they do have overhead. They do have demands on them. I mean, financially, the government puts a lot of demands on them.
Here's
But I
the
mean,
funny thing is we have a guy with dementia sitting in the middle of the White House making all these different plans and doing all this stuff. We have 49
And he
days.
had,
By the time he gets done, are we going to even have a country left?
I don't know.
I
I
don't-
don't, know because we already have a shadow government in place. I mean, Trump's making phone calls and stuff and calming people down. Because because you've seen the video I sent you about Putin talking about that Trump
it's smart.
is a smart
And
man.
resourceful.
He's more or less. It seemed to me. I listened to the whole thing. I think you did too. It seemed to me he's more or less saying he's gonna wait.
Yeah, because I mean, let's face it. I mean, I think Trump is Trump is a great negotiator. He can turn people who are against him to be allies. Like repeatedly said this during different podcasts. Megyn Kelly, other people,
J.D.
J.D.
Vance.
Vance himself. I mean, he turns very strong critics, horrible critics against
RFK,
him.
who you one time sued him.
Yes, I mean these people. He's got a way of reconciling people. I'm serious because I really think he's genuine when he says he's sorry or he wants to reach out across the aisle. If he says something like that, I hope he doesn't for a length of time. But anyway, I think he genuine means it because he knows how to get to the yes. I mean, there's books on that about business. How to get to
Right.
yes. He knows how that he
But
wrote these books.
To bring that up, he told Hamas that the hostages need to be released before the inauguration.
Well,
That's like a Reagan moment.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say
Remember Reagan
exactly.
said that?
Yeah. Well, he didn't say that. He just basically when he got
Yeah.
elected, the
They
Iranians
just let him go.
they just
But
let him
wasn't it
go.
the day that he was sworn in?
Yeah, they were sworn. They're
They
flying.
were flying.
They're
over.
flying to Germany. Yeah.
He already had the plan.
Because he already, I mean, let's face it, he was a great, and as much as I mean, I was not a person who was a worshiper of Reagan. I
Right.
liked him, but I also saw some flaws in it that I couldn't really reconcile. But he was a great communicator, and he knew how to connect with
But
people.
I'm not. I mean, I don't mean to be heartless. I'm not so concerned with the Israelis that are hostage. It's the Americans that they still have.
Yeah, because I sorry, but I don't think a lot of these any of the hostages are still alive. I mean, that's way. I think a lot of them succumb. I mean, let's
A
face
year
it.
and a half ago.
Yeah.
A year and a quarter.
They weren't like. I don't know. And another thing is too, if you look back in the Iranian crisis, the hostage situation, they were treated pretty decently. From what I don't remember
Yeah,
hearing.
they let them. They fed them and
They
everything.
fed 'em and stuff,
They
and they-
were like in a well, they were in the embassy. Remember?
Right. They weren't being
So
to
they
my
had a
knowledge, they were
kitchen and
brutalized and
everything there.
stuff.
But what I'm saying is, I'm more concerned about the Americans
Right.
that are held
Yeah.
hostage than I am the Israelis.
Well, we have to be. We're American. These are
Because
our people.
as far as I'm concerned, the Israelis brought it upon themselves, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, another thing is too. They did. There is actually proof or evidence that say they knew there was an attack impending and they didn't do
Yeah,
everything necessary.
But
They
we
didn't.
don't need to get into.
That's all conspiracy, but or well, that's all in wind. That's what I've heard, and it's on Netanyahu. Okay.
So going into
What
that,
about what you were gonna say?
Right.
something? I was going to say, what about Michigan Democrats are trying to ban colors of guns, or is this an overreach of the
Yeah,
the Second
yes.
Amendment?
We don't like
They
that.
don't want you to have bling on your guns.
Yeah.
well,
They want them to be like
black.
the black or the whatever different colors
Oh,
the guns are
camouflage.
made. Yeah.
Well, what about the diversity and stuff and inclusion? Okay, what about that? Doesn't account for guns. You can imagine how the guns feel being excluded because of their
I just
Are we
color.
going to hurt their feelings?
Are they going to hurt their
But
feelings?
you're not supposed to see the gun anyway.
No.
If somebody's got a concealed carry, you're not.
Just can see it.
But I know I haven't really seen anybody open carry for
A long
a
time.
while.
Yeah, because it was.
I know we can in the state of Michigan, but it's too much of a hassle.
When I read that just goes through my mind to think that most of these Democrats don't even know what a gun looks like.
Oh, yeah.
Really,
it's like-
they've ever carried a gun. Because a lot of okay, so I do have friends that have like a pink gun, like
Right.
girls that have a pink gun and stuff like that because they like it. But most people I know carry
So
non-colored
what are they
guns.
supposed to do? Paint it?
Yeah. Well,
You
I
know.
guess no, you can't have it because we don't like the color.
But again,
That's a
if it's
bad color.
concealed carry,
Oh.
who's going to see it anyway?
And the other side is that what you got to do? Take the gun back because it's pink,
Right.
or because it's red, or because it's
Mhm.
camouflage or something.
It's a
Well, you
What
never-
is the reason behind a Democrat? Okay, Tom, that. Wait a second. Wait, there is a Democrat. You asked me something that I wanted to talk about today. Since we're talking about Democrats, let's talk about the New York Democrat lady. Did you hear about her? Who
Who
wants to
wants to
succeed
succeed?
New York, or is it? Was it New Jersey or New York? I think it's New York.
Well,
And wants to go
I'm
to
sure-
Canada because they align more with their their thing.
I
than
don't
anyone
think they
else.
do. I don't think Canada wants them.
I don't think a lot. I mean, there's different parts.
I can
with
say
the ci-
two states that nobody wants: California
Yeah.
and New York.
Well, the cities that like in Canada that align them probably with the left wing and the right wing cities of the United States would be Toronto and Vancouver, or British Vancouver. The rest of the inner rim area, no man, they're like they don't want any kind of they live like solid
Why would-
lives, man.
I've been
would
in New
you
York
want a
this
blue
time.
state?
I've been out in New York a few times, and this year, and it's funny because when you talk to some of the people up north, northern Michigan, northern Ohio, or northern New York, they want nothing to do with New York City.
No, they
They're
don't.
like, we are not like those weirdos at all, and they're not. Like up there by Buffalo and all
And
that.
they're like, I mean, just think about it. They're all in close quarters. They live in a little bubble.
Yeah,
Right.
it's like yeah. Could you imagine? Okay, with the state of the state of Michigan's got what 9 million people, 10 million people. I think
Right.
it's entire state. We're huge. Okay, New York has got New York City's got what 5 or 6 million or 8 million or whatever within like 4 or 5 boroughs.
Mhm.
I mean, my God, jammed on top of each other. That'd be horrible. I wouldn't want to live there.
No, but think about it. We have to drive everywhere if we want anything.
All right.
They don't have like supermarkets and different things.
They have to walk to
I
them.
don't know how they. I mean, I've been to New York a couple of times. I don't know how they function. You don't get you don't have a Walmart. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but what I'm saying is you're at the whatever these people want to price their foods at, that's what you're going to pay.
Right,
Right.
because in the Chicago area, they had big business, big chain stores like grocery stores open up in some areas, and they had to close them because of theft and because of violence being done to people going into. So they're basically in the smaller places, and that's who takes the risk. But they also jack up the price. It's really hard.
I
That
mean,
drives
could
up the
you
cost of
imagine
living in
after?
there.
I mean, I like these corner stores. They're convenient.
Right.
They have a lot of stuff in them. But could you imagine have to go into one of the convenience stores to get your
All
daily
your food.
rations or
But yeah, so you're probably paying 40-50% higher on the
You are.
average for everything.
Oh, good
Well, you
Lord,
have to because these guys, some of these guys go like to Walmart and stuff that
Buy their
they're
stuff.
not supposed to.
Yeah, I
But
know.
they buy the stuff and they
Oh, I've known
resell it.
guys that do that for a long time.
I know a guy lived out. We had a store down here in Franklin, and he'd go. Back then, there was like a Kroger's down the street, like 3 blocks. He'd
Yeah.
go there, pick up the pot, bring it back to sell it at his
I
store.
mean, it's supposed to be illegal.
Yeah.
but they do it.
Yeah.
Because I worked at a bank in a Kroger, and you would see all these people that you knew that they would take whole pallets. It piss off the manager
Right.
because that's supposed to be for
Right,
the
all their
patrons
people.
that come there, especially when there's a sale, and the people come there and they want the Coke or the Pepsi products, and they're gone because this guy just bought a pallet of just took the whole pallet
Right.
Right.
that was in the back.
Yeah, that's where it's small. Like now, Sam's Club. I knew a lot of guys that did that.
Well,
but that
you
was
can
set
do
up for
that
Sam's
because
Club.
Sam's
because
Club
you
is
don't pay
designed
tax.
for that.
Right.
You don't pay the tax
Right.
when you buy it. They're set up to sell to the business owners.
I remember like for a while when I was living in where the studio's at here, I used to get my number was had been
Says it
it had been
taxes deferred.
would had been like a convenience store, and I'd get calls from Sam's Club talking about the price of cigarettes and stuff. I went, this is no longer a convenience store number or party store number. Another thing is too, I've talked to people from all over the country, and I say a party store, and the question mark, what's a party store? I said, party supplies like booze, ice
Right.
cups, and chips, dip, all that stuff. I said that's what they refer to as a party store. Oh, you mean a convenience store? I said, well, we call it a party store because it gives you get your party supplies.
Or a
there.
liquor store or something.
Yeah.
like that. So, okay. So, what do you guys think about what's the difference? We talk about Judeo-Christian. Shouldn't we just call it a Christian value? Why are we always calling everything Judeo-Christian? You have any viewpoints on that?
I like,
Do
yeah.
you really want him to tell you?
Yeah, I would.
Because see, the thing is, I can understand that Christianity is a branch of originally started as a branch of Judaism. It was a sect within Judaism. It's called the Way.
Mhm.
They refer to it as. But see, I think the criteria for a Christian's ethical system is much higher demand than it is in a Judeo, because the Jewish people can actually engage in thoughts and actually engage in certain practices as long as who they're engaging with against is actually not one of them, not one of their
Right.
tribal members or tribes or whatever. Whereas a Christian they're supposed to give like compassion and care and all this other and all these considerations to everybody out there. It's universalizable. Where Judea is basically, I would say, more focused on tribalism.
But
It's
our
like very-
country was founded on Christian values.
Yeah, Christian values.
The Judeo didn't come until Judeo it's only been around since 1920s.
Yeah, that's when I first. Well, that's the publications I've seen it when it first came out. Judeo Christian. Now, obviously, the Ten Commandments. Are they referring to the Ten Commandments? Well, then some people could argue that was actually called a Hammurabi or whatever.
Correct.
That kind of stuff. But I mean, I just know the Judeo Christian. I think it's a good thing in some ways to say that because it's like inclusive, I guess. But I don't think it's highly accurate.
But we're not supposed to. I mean, yeah, we're supposed to be inclusive but to what end?
Right.
Do we have to? Why don't we include the Muslims in there? Why don't we include the everyone else? Why is it only the Jews that we include?
Yeah, that's like what you're supposed to the monotheistic religious viewpoint, values. I mean, I don't know because of monotheism, but
Right.
see, actually though, Islam, if you brought that up, I mean, there's like I don't see any prohibit. I mean, they're very centered. I mean, they permit a lot of things that the Jews wouldn't permit, neither will the Christians. I mean, if they're following the Quran, they can do acts of brutality because that's permitted in their book. Now, a Christian does that. It's not permitted in our book, but we still do it. Well, it's a violation of our moral ethical code. But
Well, then they also cover that underneath where Paul says, all things are lawful to me, but not all
I
things
think
are beneficial.
beneficial, yeah.
Right. And that's where they cover that, or they say, but I think the thing is that if we have Christian values, it should mean that you're following Christ as Christ like.
Right.
I don't think I think the fact is I'd rather go with Christian values versus Judeo-Christian values, even though I grew up with Judeo-Christian values being told that that's what we are.
Right.
I'd rather stick with the Christian values underneath the fact of one thing. I'm not a Jew. I'm and you're not a Jew.
Right.
When we become a Christian, we are like stepkids to the Jewish faith that go into it. So therefore,
we're Christians. We're not
Christians. But I mean, when
stepkids.
you're talking about where Christ says that this is my people, but
no,
his
but if you
people-
go into the new covenant, that erases all that was
Right.
before.
right, the new covenant being Christ's blood is the new.
I don't mean
covenant.
it erases, but what I'm saying is you have to go to
But the
the
Old
new.
Testament's all set
John
up.
can explain about
Well, see, I would say that the I was to say the Christian is actually there when they shift to becoming, like you're saying, more Christ-like, more
Right.
basically by driven by that. You can't engage in the same practice the Jews were allowed to do. Like I said, there's a greater deal of greater demand on how we should live our lives than there was on the Jews. Because
Right.
actually, there's some part of their book that says if you basically you feel horny, basically, you just go dress up in different clothes, go to another city where you're not known, engage in sex,
and
then
come
come
back.
back home. Well, that's not that you can't. A Christian can't do that. You got your much higher demand. Another thing is
But
we don't even know
that
what's in the
video.
Talmud.
You
Yeah.
obviously watched the video. that I
Right.
sent. Explain that video.
Because you sent me two of them.
No, you sent the video to me about
Oh, the one from
Judeo-Christian
Calvin Robinson,
Yes.
Calvin Robinson.
What
Yeah.
he explained.
Yeah, it's like, and I probably should memorize it more because Calvin Robinson was a bishop or something of the hierarchy of the
But
structure.
he says that Christ is the church.
The church, yeah, the church.
Very much.
And so the idea of Judea being grafted into it, I think,
That
is
we're not grafted,
No,
that
no.
everybody became Christians.
right. It's just like,
Right.
well, see, the Bible says we were grafted, but that was when the Bible was first written. But a 2,000-year-old I think we could qualify to be a standalone religion at this point.
Very
Christianity.
much.
So I mean, yeah, I forgot a lot of salient points he made because he covered it was like several minutes, but he was like no, he was really
But he
good about
talks
that.
about
Yeah.
the Jews became Christians.
Right, that's what it was.
The only way you're going to get to, I don't care who you are, the only way you get to Christ is through, the only way you get to heaven is through Christ.
Well, see, that's where the thing is. I get tired of people saying, "I'm a Messianic Jew." Okay, to me, that's a very
You're still
problematic term.
saying you're a Jew.
It's like, okay, yeah, you're still a Jew. Okay, and it's very confusing. Are you still waiting for the Messiah? Because we Christians think we knew we're the ones who already came out.
But do you think they're saying that versus, okay, like you and I say, we're a Christian, but we're an American, right?
Right.
Christian American. Do you think that's why they're saying it that way?
I still
Don't
think
say
they
they're
expect.
what?
I think
I just say I'm a Christian. I don't say
I'm Christian.
No, but
I
somebody-
don't- but that would be
somebody's
like
talking
saying that would be like saying I'm a German Christian
Protestant.
or I'm a
Right.
no.
no, I don't see.
No, Christians.
Because there is Christianity across the world, though, is different.
Well, yeah, true. I mean,
Watchman Nee actually came across and said when he came across and was teaching people, he's like, I do not want, when he first started working with everybody, he's like, I don't want the Western culture, Christianity versus the other one. And when he rolled off his books, Watchman Nee was very much more involved in the fact of when you follow Christ, you follow Christ with everything.
that's exactly
When
right.
when you read all the other ones, it's basically accept Christ as your personal savior, do this, and this, and then go over here or do so many Hail Marys.
Yeah.
like Watchman Nee was saying, it's a daily thing that you pick up. Not that a daily thing that you're getting resaved,
Right.
but your walk is a
It's
daily
gonna pick a
walk.
picture across a daily, right?
And he said you cannot eliminate what the Bible says on different things. That God's standard doesn't drop down. And then he said that when you come to across America, and this was in the early 1900s, when he came across and said this, he came from Asian.
Right.
He came from the Asian. And when he got saved and all that, he went and he studied and spent all the time and came across, wrote these books. And one of the things is that he believed not into, like, we believe in a church where you can go like all across everywhere. He believed you go to your local church in your community,
Right.
and do exactly the way the Bible did. So what I'm trying to say when I'm talking about
Well,
that
you're in
is-
the church now.
yeah,
Right.
So what I'm trying to say is that if you look at it, other places look at our Christianity as basically you know, weak-minded or weak-hearted Christianity. Other countries, they actually gone through the different things, and I always had a hard time with our Christians.
What do you mean by
go-
gone
Go
through?
through persecution and stuff like
Persecutions,
persecution, yeah.
like they go through persecutions if they're a Christian.
You
if
don't
they
think
want
that the average white Christian is not persecuted in this
We're-
country?
not
Not,
to-
not to
not-
the extent of
not-
stoning or whatever,
Right.
but if you go out and say they think you're crazy.
That's
yeah.
but it's that's scorn. But when with the Watchman Nee one, especially the time of the communists,
But it doesn't make them better Christians.
No, they don't.
No, it doesn't.
But it makes them appreciate their Christianity more than what.
Okay,
we
but that's
appreciate.
like living in the past. It's not happening today.
Right.
Well,
How many years
but the
ago
thing is-
you're talking about? This is like talking about reparations for slavery.
Yeah, but
Right, but we live there all day long. When people talk about that all day
we
long.
do. I don't.
Well,
No,
it's like-
I don't either.
But another thing is, but I think the point is though, we're going to suffer greater in the future. The Christians in the United States, we're never like we've never seen before, and it's going to become people of all around the. What I can't stand people say they're like pre-trib rapture.
I mean, FBI. That's one of the things they look for. Is he white?
Yeah,
Is he a
Christian? Does he have an American flag?
What we put in
Is
their
he a Trump
sights.
supporter?
we're being
Those
put.
are-
You're a
the
bad
four-
guy.
Except for the Trump supporters, but I don't understand how being white, being straight, that's not
I
one.
forgot about that.
Yeah.
one.
And then having a flag and actually liking your country is a terroristic moment. To me, how is the
But that's
FBI
that's more than
crazy?
that's probably 90% of the January 6ers that are
Yeah.
in prison right now. Is they fit that general description.
But no, there's
You
the
know, how many black people? I mean, I'm not against black people, but how many black people have you seen that have been?
Try for that.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever called and seen
I'm
anybody.
sure
that's-
there are, but they're probably few and far between, and they don't deserve it any more than
Yeah, it shouldn't be a crime
else
to want your.
deserves it.
It shouldn't be a crime in the United States to want to love your country and appreciate what you have. That should not be crime, or should not be a marker for you be considered a terrorist. No, but I mean, I do think the Christian. Another thing is Watchman Nee says on his books. His books actually take the approach more along the lines of the Orthodox, big old
Right.
Orthodox, than modern Christianity. Because modern day Christianity in the West is kind of a bland, very staid, and also very secure because they have no real challenge. And we're facing that now with the rise of secular atheism as well as the rise of Islam and competing religions like Hinduism coming
Right.
in and Sikhism and all that stuff. Now it's like a chance we're becoming like the mixing pot religiously that we never were before.
No.
And so we are going to face
Well,
persecution.
And the pastors aren't standing up to it.
Unfortunately, well, not only that, unfortunately, people don't read the Bible and they rely on that pastor
Right.
to disseminate the information, and they can be corrupted too and not give the right information to their flock.
Like to me, it's like a person like Joel Osteen. I don't know why they would consider a pastor. I don't hear him ever say anything against sin. And I never heard him talk about anything that's relevant to what I consider the Christian walk. I mean, I never have. I mean, your best life now. It's like, no, the best life now is in the afterworld for a Christian.
Right.
This is a veil of where you're going to have some suffering and pain and
Well,
A doubt and all
agree
that.
with what you said. Every day is starting new.
yeah,
Right.
you do that.
Just because you're a Christian today, you have to be a Christian tomorrow too.
And you're going to have to carry that cross daily.
You know, a lot of people say, well, Christians, you think you're over everybody else. No, you know what a really Christian is? All it means is that we're a sinner. We were in need of a savior. We understood it. We did it. We accepted it. We had a savior come in, died on the cross, and did this. That is the only difference between a person who's accepted Christ and a person who hasn't accepted Christ.
Right.
That's the only difference.
But we don't berate anybody for not being a Christian.
Well,
that's
our
up-
church has. I mean, our culture
Eh,
has.
but I'm talking about me as an individual
Oh,
and
right.
John
Yeah, yeah.
and you,
No.
because we have friends that aren't Christian,
Uh,
and
I
that's
know.
up to them. We have friends that are atheists.
Right.
I've got pastors who are know of pastors who um basically have stood up on the pulpit after they've committed affairs and blamed their wives because their wife got pregnant, got chubby while she got pregnant. While she was pregnant, carrying
Yeah.
his kid. And then the church went after her, then went after the other person. We've done a lot in the church in one way or the other side, right? We put pastors up here on a pedestal.
And then make them rock stars, and that's what we
Yeah.
try to do with our church to make sure it's not like that. And that's why we primarily, we do everything by the internet to get our message
Right.
out.
Because as a pastor, we're supposed to be servants. We're not supposed to be
But I think everyone should be able to be a pastor. I don't think person. I think it's better when you have a church where everyone gets to speak if they
Okay.
want to.
I think well, that like the Amish people do that. I think to some degree, and so there's religious sects in the United States that have always embraced that. I mean, what they call the priesthood of believers or something
Right.
like
But
that.
it's nice if you can go to a seminary or a school, a Bible
Right.
school. But not John didn't go to a Bible school,
No.
but I trust what John says,
I say I went to
he spends a lot of time reading and studying.
and he understands.
Right.
yeah. So I did go to the Flint Bible Institute briefly, but I
I
mean,
did there too.
yeah, and
I
it was
liked it.
it was very. I mean, I was very sad to see that Leo passed away. Leo Reynolds.
Maybe.
Yeah, he passed away a few years ago. During the pandemic, unfortunately, I called somebody and they give me the number 2 of the Flint Bible Institute, and then I found that Leo had passed away. And of course, the thing is, the biggest thing I had about him was he was a Dallas Theological Seminary graduate back in the '70s, so he was big dispensationalist leaning, but he was a great Greek and Hebrew teacher, and
Right.
it was only 60, 50, 80 bucks for the classes. I mean, and you had to buy your own books, but that's cheap. I mean, I don't know how they kept going with those rate, the
Well,
prices they charged.
because Sunshine Bible Shop pretty much carried a lot of it for him
Right.
because they carried that. That was one thing that Mrs. Farber put her whole heart into to let
Yeah.
that go. So, but here's the thing: I learned a lot more there sometimes than I learned at Bible college.
Probably because I've heard John talk about it. There was a lot of discussion that went on
Yeah, yeah.
too. It wasn't
The
just
class was
somebody. It wasn't just a room filled in with a bunch of people that somebody was talking. He wasn't talking at the people. He was talking to the
You're right.
people.
Right.
And even with my college classes, those are the best classes that I had where we had discussion about whatever the professor was talking
I
about.
might be wrong about the guy. I didn't know he went there. I don't want to make this a show about that, but I think it was Reverend Otis, James Otis. Okay, very all good. He would just start talking, and you had to take note. I was taking note. I was trying to make a reference Bible, a study Bible out of his notes. Right, he was jumping around so much, and it was pretty. He had books laid out, but he didn't. He didn't really cite them so much. He just said, and this, you flipped it here, you have flipped it, and it's also connected to this Bible verse. You have flipped like 3 or 4 different Bible. You had like put fingers in different books, try to keep them marked
Right.
so you can jump back. I mean, I'm also at the end of an hour and a half, I was wore out.
Yeah.
I mean, it was serious. Like, God.
Do you remember a guy named Dr. Wardlow, Robert Wardlow? They used to go up in there.
No, that one I didn't have. No.
He was a good guy. I don't think he's one of the instructors, but he was up there a lot working with people. But I'll tell you what, I learned a lot from there. I also learned a lot from Dr. Matthews and Dr. Johnson from Dr. Clark at Wayland University. And all the other Bible teachers I had were exactly what you talked about, Steve. They were all just stand up in the class. They would sit there and lecture you. That was it. Your Greek, your Hebrew, that was all they did. But these guys had international classes. They set you in 2 different sides.
Because they
And let you
believed in
talk.
what they were doing. They weren't
Yeah.
just making a buck.
And these 3 guys that I like so much, guess what? They were actually still pastors of churches,
Right.
working at pastors of churches, talking about real logical
I
things.
mean,
that
when
have been
people
going
are
on.
excited about it, even the most boring things,
right,
if they're excited about it,
they can
they
make it
can
work.
make you excited too.
Right. And that's what these
I'm
guys
not
did.
saying the Bible's boring.
There are parts of the Bible.
They're
that-
the begats and all that because
Oh my gosh.
begat
But now for something completely
really
different.
different.
You have news from Escanaba?
Oh my god, yeah, I had so much fun. We went up north and we're heading back up this week to Marquette. But I've not done a lot up in the UP for a while, right?
Right.
I'm not, so I didn't really know this. So they actually, how down here they have always the Michigan hand
Yeah.
and then the up thing.
We always
There-
include them.
Yeah.
We-
Yeah,
but
you
they're,
always include
they're the Uperts.
And I never knew this. And so I was up there and I got to spend some time with different people.
You're a troll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was trolling, right?
No, they call
Well,
us
us trolls, because
trolls.
we live under the bridge.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
but I was up there talking to different people and different, because you get some downtime, you get to
Mhm.
talk to vendors, and they were telling me how much they don't like the people from downstate. And they don't want to be associated with. They want their own
They
state.
don't have to worry about. There's nothing up there.
No, but they're like they're like people that come from down here go up there so rude and everything like that, and they just but they were so they're like, we like you guys, your guys are nice. I'm like, but everybody was really nice. But everywhere you go there, like the shirts and the hats, I'll bring you guys the hat that Julie bought. It just has UP on it. It doesn't have the state of
Well,
Michigan on it.
I can understand why.
So I went to go sell like our pretzels and they say Min Gourmet, right? I can usually go to I even went to Illinois and I sold all the pretzels, right?
They didn't want your pretzels.
They didn't want their pretzels. They're like, oh, we don't want them. So I got to take the
So you
veteran
didn't
stuff up
sell
there.
any.
I sold about half of what I always sold.
So maybe you just have to whatever.
Right out the
No, whatever they're like. Youper
Hey, the
gourmet.
Youper area.
Youper gourmet.
Hoopers. Yeah, the Hoopers.
Youper gourmet.
And there was somebody had to sign. I didn't know what it was, and I'm like, and it said something like, and she's like, oh, that's just what we say up here. And they're like, most people who are coming in were from Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Right.
So we went to the casino. It's called Island Casino, just to see what it looked like walking around. You saw more people, and then I was driving across the thing, and like down here they'll say if the Lions win or something, you get something
Yeah.
free. They're
Green Bay.
Yeah.
They says if Green Bay wins, you get free fries. I'm sure going, huh? And I looked at Julie and I'm like, we're still in Michigan, correct? And she said, and I didn't know that actually if you go to Escanaba, it's actually an hour behind down here.
Oh yeah, there's.
I didn't know that.
I know that because I know Illinois got like a different.
Well,
hours
yeah, because
difference.
Chicago's a different time zone.
Yeah, but I didn't
But
know.
the line is right there.
But then if you come back in like 2 minutes, it was like, so we were dropping back and forth. But if you go to Escanaba, go right down this one main road, you have everything, all the courtesies of home, like Burger King,
Yeah.
Kentucky Fried Chicken. You have a few of those things rolled in there. But then you turn down this one street, Ludington, that takes you down there by the lighthouse and everything. And you would believe you just turned into 1953. It was the houses are nice and
It's
everything.
a
was so
nice
neat.
area.
Yeah,
I would
nice
love-
area.
I would love that.
You
I
know,
would
it
love
was
it.
beautiful. And go over
Yeah,
by the
but
water.
not the snow.
No.
How much snow was there up there?
It wasn't bad on Thursday when we got up there, but yesterday it felt like I was driving through a freaking snow globe.
It was like about a foot of snow or something.
On the way
like that.
home, yeah, because actually I was coming down and we stopped and got a hot cocoa, right? It's on the way in. We waited, sunny, everything, came back out. It was a blizzard. We drove that blizzard all the way to Roscommon County.
Doesn't the bridge have like wind advisories and stuff that you can't cross it at certain times?
Yeah, we didn't have it last time, but yeah, it does have that. And the funny thing is, like I saw in Jersey, it's kind of like its own state because you have to pay $4 to go up there
Right.
and $4 to come back.
Right.
And there's not that many regulated places. I mean,
But
you
how
got-
was the money? Were they easy with their money? Like
they were more.
was it pretty good? I mean,
We sold more chocolate than we sold pretzels, and they're a lot nicer.
what I'm saying, you do pretty well up there
We did okay. We did
as
yeah.
compared to something.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously
Yes,
you did well
we did.
enough that you want to go back.
We
up
did.
To Marquette.
We did better.
Who are we?
Our town snacks? Our team did better there than we did at another show. We had a lot more people there.
Now, do you compete with other chocolate candy makers and stuff on these?
We do, but we don't compete with, and we also compete with people actually that got coffee up there as
Yeah.
well, and pretzel companies. But the problem is we basically have a caffeinated chocolate, so that kind of
puts you in a
knocks out
different
everybody else.
category.
It puts us on a totally different category.
It comes up with
So-
an advisory warning,
Oh.
but
A whole nother level.
It
Yeah.
does, and those small ones I gave you guys last week.
Yeah.
Those little
Those
small
are
ones.
good.
Yeah.
That was a perfect size, by the way.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think that bag would, but it was perfect
Yeah.
because of the sweetness and the.
Yeah, it's just like a one serving bag.
Yeah.
Just
But
good
you
to-
get it's enough because if any more you get, yeah.
We
and
were
believe
selling-
me, when you give me one of the bigger bags, I get sick. to the
It's
stomach.
it's like, man, I should have done
Because I
this.
ate too
He
much.
called me one day and said,
Thanks a
I'm like-
lot.
He's like, I got through the whole bag. I'm like, John. And then he's like, well, the peppermint had a little bit of a crunch. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, yeah, that's the peppermint. He's
Yeah.
like, oh, okay. But we had, no, I think I'll tell you
But
what,
you
the people
almost
there were
killed this
nicer.
with that first round, didn't
Yeah,
you?
yeah.
Oh, God, yeah, I gave you a lot
You
of
know,
those.
a lot of chocolate.
I-
You had like three or four bags
That's
a piece.
I had
I
one.
wasn't expecting you to eat it in one day. I just thought,
I didn't eat it in one day.
I give one to a bag of, try to
You
say,
gave one to a bag.
I give one bag to a,
We get one little bag.
give to a bag to an old bag, on the street. But no,
I
got
hope they're not dating.
somebody come in here and I was like, I said, you got to try this stuff. And oh man, this is good. But I mean, this guy doesn't like to spend money. So you might not get about it. He said he loved the chocolate though. He mowed on it, but
We had people, to answer your question, the guys we met this week, the people we met this week, they were nicer. I swear.
So are you gonna get a sticker that says
Uber?
Uber?
I told
Uber?
Jules, I said, you know what? If we retire, I'd love to move up here. Screw going to Florida. I'd move up there in a heartbeat. What would you
The
do?
winter time.
it's like I had my brother went up to Michigan Tech, okay, and he was like a person that wasn't he wasn't that wild, but when he got up there, he's just partying. That's all he did. And I said, why'd you do it? He goes, there's nothing else to do up there.
Well, it's
I
like
said, there's
but
nothing
you know
else
what?
to do up
Honestly,
there.
I grew up in St. Helens, Roscommon. There's nothing there to do either,
Right.
Except for party.
That's like see, my friend, she was
And I
raised in
don't
Marquette.
party. That's not why you want to go up there. But it's you know why I like it up there. Honestly, it's because I've always been a small town kid. I used to love Burton when Burton was a small town. Where it didn't have it wasn't just like connected to Flint and
Yeah.
everything else, right?
See, I grew up here, several generations in Flint, 5 generations in this neighborhood, but we always had relatives. My grandparents retired up to Lupton, outside of Lupton, and then my brothers went to, and I had relatives that owned, they owned a general store, butcher shop in Felch, Michigan, near Iron Mountain. And then I had relatives scattered. My brother's family had scattered.
So they were Felchers.
They're Felchers.
They were
Yeah.
Felch.
People say Felch. I've never been. I don't think I've been there
That's
once. Yeah. Been a
That's a
Felcher.
joke.
I know.
Felcher.
Yeah.
Hey, okay, what do you think about when you buy somebody a gift and they don't want anything to do with it? Wouldn't that break your heart?
No,
I
not
expected.
unless you put a lot of thought into it.
I did. I
Okay.
really did this weekend.
Well,
I
okay.
bought Julie.
No,
Don't talk about personal stuff that's going to get you in trouble.
We've already been talking about it. I bought her a thing of herring and wine.
Of what?
a herring.
Herring, all
Well,
chopped up.
chopped
little
up
piece of
fish.
herring.
Was it in a white sauce or?
It's in a white wine sauce.
Oh, that's
no.
I
know,
bought
It
that.
has
It
to
was
be
a
in the
pail.
white sauce.
I
You
bought
know
it
which
on-
ones? You know which ones I'm
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah.
When you put them over cucumbers or potatoes.
Oh well. Yeah,
Anyways, so you liked it and she didn't.
I bought it for her because she always tells me how much she loves fish, and I bought it for her. And she's like, "Oh my god, I'm not going to eat that." And then somebody said it looked like one of those things that you get from gag gifts where you put your hand in, try to figure what's in there. But you
You
can see
spent
the
a lot of
fish
money in there, huh?
about $25.
Wow.
That's. No, I mean my
But you know the pickled herring that
Yeah.
I'm talking about.
It's got the
It's a
white,
pickle
the white.
sauce,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the
That's-
vinegary, and you eat it over potatoes and sometimes cucumbers.
Do you guys want some? Because I got a bucket of it.
No, not with wine.
It's got a white wine sauce or something.
Mm.
I'll take it. No, I'll take some.
John will eat anything.
Yeah, I don't eat anything.
You eat it. I'll bring it to you.
Yeah,
and wrap it up for
because-
your Christmas.
Because I grew up eating a herring, and my dad also like Limburger. He smelly stuff, weird stuff. My family used to eat, man. We used to broil out pig's heads, mekutika, which
Have
is
you
a
ever
herring
tasted
sausage.
them? Have you ever tasted it? It doesn't taste like it smells.
What's that?
What the herring?
Limburger.
Oh, I've tasted it. Yeah. I mean, the only
If you
time
could get through the
the,
smell.
the only time I could actually get past the smell was a bad
I
head
call
cold.
I call it foot cheese.
Oh, it is. It's like my mom would let him have it, keep it in the refrigerator, but it had to be in an old, cleaned out peanut butter jar.
Yeah.
And she also kept the spoon or the knife in there, and it kept it in the refrigerator. She didn't want it, reeking up the
Contaminating.
kitchen. And a lot of times you'd have to step outside and put it on the bread or whatever, then put it in. My friend
What you doing?
My-
I'm spreading
The
the
cheese.
cheese.
Yeah.
Spread the cheese.
But that sounds really disgusting in retrospect. But no, one of my friends is over, and my dad was eating it, and he goes, "You got to try some." My friend Kevin Manning, and he gives some to him. He said, "After I got past the smell, that shit was pretty good." But he said I couldn't get past the smell of it at first, But the only time I could is when I couldn't smell it at all from a head cold, and I said, "Dang, this tastes pretty good." It's really good. But
There's no way in the world I'm going to eat that herring. No way in God's green. I don't like fish anyway. I just can't stand fish.
but yeah, I think I grew up around fish. My mom didn't like
We
fish.
always had it because of being Catholic. One of the things that you could have is
Fish.
on Friday.
Fish. My dad was
We
like,
did fish and chips. I would do that with tons of tartar sauce, tons of lemon, and tons of ketchup. You didn't.
We're
see the
talking
fish.
Polish food.
Are you
Yeah.
Polish?
I'm not, but my mom.
well, your ancestry is. Yeah.
I'm not Polish. I'm American.
You're
Oh, that would piss so many people off. What are you? I'm American.
I was born American.
I'm American. I'm born
Live
here.
American. Die American.
So
Well,
I-
your people,
see, I-
they're American too.
I have I have 8 different ethnic groups mixed in the family. So if I want to, it'd take me a half
But you
hour to
can't-
describe
but
each one.
The
of them.
only language you can speak is
English, right? It's I can barely speak that. But I mean, Hungarian, I could never learn it. It's one of the hardest languages. German, I didn't want to learn it really that much.
Spanish.
I don't have any Spanish ancestry, but
Of course not.
no, not that type of people. No, there are Spaniards.
Did you just say not the type of people?
No, we're not that from that
What do
group
you
of
mean
people.
that
That group of
type,
people.
that type of
Well,
people?
we're just not Spanish. We're not
Uh,
Spanish speaking people.
He
I mean,
doesn't go to Mexican restaurants.
No, I do go to Mexican
No.
restaurants. Yeah, I go to Mexican restaurants. I always joke.
Yeah,
of-
One
I
of
always
my favorite ones is
El Cosmo.
Cortland Center.
Yeah.
That was
It's
Is
really
it
good.
Cortland Center?
Yeah, Cortland. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cortland. Yeah.
No, wait. Is that what it's called now?
Well, it used to be the Eastland Mall, but now
Eastland
it's
Mall, I can't
Cortland. It's been
remember.
Cortland for like 35, 36
I
years.
just heard that Genesee Valley Mall is up for sale.
Oh yeah, it's gone downhill so bad.
I mean, what's left there? Macy's, the gym, and
It's
JCPenney's, right?
in
I
Barnes and Noble.
Barnes and Noble, like
Over the
and
front.
Barnes and Noble, actually, you were talking about that a couple of podcasts ago about how it did really well performance, for the stock and for the bottom line. So, and they've and I like going to bookshops. I mean, my dream was to actually own a bookshop that sell both used and new books, have a cafe into it too. That was way before, like 10 years before Borders went that.
And now you
direction.
have a church.
And I have a church.
You ever go to Craigos over in Grand Rapids?
No, which one?
Craigos.
I've heard of it, but I never went there. No.
Next time I go to Grand Rapids for a delivery, you all should go with me because you'll love it.
Okay.
They have old books.
I love old books, and I have King's bookstore. There was like the one downtown for the Detroit area. It's like 4 or 5 stories.
Mhm.
They had another one, ancillary one. It's off of Woodward somewhere, like one of the small towns, like near Royal Oak or something.
Right.
Went there, and I used to love it, man. I would spend hours in that place. Bought hundreds of dollars worth of books over about 2 or 3 years, but I bought I have over maybe 6,000, 8,000 books, and I'm always adding to it,
I donated 3 times now and donated to church libraries now 3 times in my life.
Yep.
Now I'm rebuilding up my library again.
Good
So,
for you.
yeah.
Well, because I don't know what to do with the books after you get done reading them for.
No, that's what I was talking with my
Yeah.
older brother. That throwing a book away is like burning the flag.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I hate doing it. The only time I did is when they were like so badly ruined because of moisture, like they're caught in a basement flood or something like that.
Right.
And I hate doing that. The mildew smell, I just have to do it. But I've got books since I've had when I was a little kid and stuff, in my collection. So, but anyway, as I say, if we get this, the church library built up, if you ever get it too large a year for the accommodation,
Yeah,
it'll
because
take
we
some
were
time.
talking about upstairs
Yeah,
putting some books up
Yeah.
there.
bookshelves.
No, I have no problem donating.
Yeah, because
Oh, we got books in the garage.
yeah, we have hundreds of books. Back when we were
I
still,
got books at home still.
it's like we got.
But I think it's time.
Yeah, I think it's
Get
time.
to
So